What's going on, family? It is Monday. Welcome to the Beatdown. It's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That means it's 8 a.m. in California. So, if you're anywhere in between, check where you are, Central Mountain, and you'll know exactly what time it is there too. But it's the right time to get down with combat sports. We got a lot to talk about today, stemming from the Royal Rumble last night, as well as the PBC card on Fox Saturday. So, hey, it's going to be a good day. Let's get it. And we got some other stuff to talk about. So, it's a little more sensitive. But, we're going to have a good time doing what we do. All right? I'll be right back after the intro. Let that thing run, baby.
Introduce you to the greatest combat sports show bar none. You are now in the Beatdown.
You wanna get beat down?
Let us now introduce you to your host, the Badger, and
What's going on, family? Hey, I'm going to be here. So let's get this thing on and do what we do. Okay. What's going on, Badger? Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, my internet connection is slow as all get out today, bro. I feel like I'm on dial-up. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, wow. Did you hear the bing, bing, shh, ding, 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 ding?
Nah.
Oh, okay. That might have been before your time. You don't know nothing about dial-up. Uh-oh. Maybe he does. He just vanished. Dang. Okay. So, as we're rolling, I have in my Fighter Share cup, I have a Ceylon cinnamon stick, a knob of ginger, a little bit of agave, and some hot water. So, you know what? We're doing it right today. Today is the first day of the rest of our lives, and we're going to make it the best day of our lives so far, health-wise. So, hey, pray for me. We're going to do this the right way. Good morning, Miss Samantha Clark Jones. Thank you for tuning in. Well, maybe his dial-up rang back in. Bro, you might want to check in on DSL if you got dial-up, bro. Just saying. Can you hear me? Bro, can you hear me? Hello.
Yo.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I had something special planned for the intro, but your ISP canceled that. So we'll just keep it going.
Dang, that sucks. Okay.
I was telling everybody we're making a healthy choice to turn our lives around today. So in my Fighter Share tumbler, I have a Ceylon stick, a knob of ginger, a little agave, and some hot water.
Sounds like a concoction that'll get your insides doing some good stuff there.
Hey, it'll also lower your pressure. And being on this show, it'll raise your pressure. So, listen, I was going to start out with something a little less controversial, but then I said, no. our audience can handle it. Now, I know we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We lost Cicely Tyson. Man, we lost a couple people last week. But your girl, your crush, your wannabe baby mama, Taraji P. Henson, came on the Today Show and completely ticked me off.
Do tell. I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
She is part of this series where I don't know if it's online. When she started talking, it just kind of threw everything off kilter. And it wasn't the topic that they're dealing with this week. They were dealing with depression. And this week they were dealing with depression among transgenders. That didn't bother me. Please, don't send me IMs and DMs and stuff about, that. No, it wasn't the transgender issue that bothered me. It's when they asked, hey, what made you want to tackle this issue this week? And she said, first thing out of her mouth, well, we have to know, just like we say Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. I went hot at that point. I was like, what? Come on now. Really? When you make a certain amount of money, I guess your sensitivity to yourself gets turned off. But listen, I'm going to say this again. If all lives mattered, we wouldn't have to say Black Lives Matter. I'm done with that chick, man. I'm done. Y'all can have her. Y'all can call her a national treasure. I got the shovel. Let's bury her.
Well, all right, look, man. I think you're getting caught up in your emotions, much like she did. So let's take a step back for a minute. Listen, the more I sit back and look at the things that the Hollywood elite do and the people that they put in front of us that we're supposed to hold in some type of high regard, I realize that it's all just smoke and mirrors. These people are just simply pawns in a greater scheme that some of us are privy to and some of us aren't. I don't care that she said that. It doesn't even matter to me anymore because at this point, the proverbial cat is literally out of the bag. Everybody knows the talking points now. Everybody knows the deflections, the typical tactics that they use. I'm not going to strike her down for that. She's done a lot more than bad in her career as far as I'm concerned. She's always represented a very positive and a very natural type of role model for young women, especially young Black women. So if she said this, it's okay, bro. One loss, 99 wins. We got to stop canceling people for having moments because guess what? We have moments all the time. If you feel like everybody is equal, then it doesn't matter how much money you got. We all say things, bro. You've said things, I've said things, but nobody wants to die.
We don't have the platform that she has, period.
She's still human. I get it.
It doesn't matter. Greater responsibility, greater platform. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So if you're on a major news talk show and you start out with that BS, yeah, I do think you need to be hammered for it because I understand all you're trying to do is pander to the people who keep you on the air, but you have a greater responsibility.
Notice the people that always say heavy is the head, or the people that never wear the crown. Listen, she had a mistake. It happens. And guess what? She's from D.C. So guess what? It also tells me that she probably directly knows someone in that type of community, someone that's probably been through some things. That is another blind eye that we have to admit that happens in our community, bro. We are not the most open-minded people when it comes to alternative lifestyles. Right, wrong, or different. We just aren't.
What are you talking about alternative lifestyles?
When she's speaking about transgender people that member of that community, bro, she probably has a family member or knows who's been directly affected.
That had nothing to do with my comment, and I specifically outlined that I had no problem with her dealing with the transgenders. I had no problem with that. My issue was how she started out. They didn't ask her anything about Black Lives Matter. They didn't ask her anything about any of those organizations. All they asked her was, hey, what led you to deal with transgenders in
Bro,
depression. And
bro,
she
listen.
said, because we keep saying Black Lives Matter, we need to realize that all lives matter. What the did that have to do with the question they asked? Nothing.
Bro,
It was an
it's
agenda she wanted to get across.
okay. All right.
It's a good thing I'm not emotional about this, because I'd really go off the deep end.
Sounds like it. The inflection in your voice and all that says that you are, but listen, it's fine. I
It's
just
the
feel like
ginger.
that. I feel like we just can't, we can't proverbial cancel people for having even saying something that they look back on and just doesn't age well. She said that, bro. And I'm sure that was probably, like I said, it probably came from a place of emotion. She probably knows somebody in those communities, bro. That's fine. What about all the good things that she's done? Is that what really we're going to do right now with someone like Taraji? Like, come on, bro. She deserves the fact
Yeah,
that
she's not
if you
immune.
disagree, if you disagree with her or not, bro, that's fine. But you wouldn't want us to hold you accountable for everything that you've ever said, because I'm sure you've spoken out of turn quite a bit,
Oh,
bro.
wait a minute, wait a
It's
minute.
okay.
I've got people who check me every day if I say something out of line.
But they don't. They don't cancel you. They just check you. So
I
check
didn't
Taraji
cancel
and move
her.
on.
I don't have
You
the
just
power to
said
cancel
you.
anybody.
You just said I'm done with her, and I'm like,
Right.
bro.
Me.
Okay,
I'm
I
not
got you.
telling anybody else to be
I get
I'm
it.
me. I can't speak for
Listen,
you.
you're right. You're right. I get
I
it,
can
and
only
I
speak for
understand.
me.
And I understand you, and because I understand you, it makes perfect sense.
You know what? I'm tired of this condescending junk, but that's all right. That's why your beard is comb crooked. It's okay. So listen, you want to deal with anything before I get into the Royal Rumble, because that's
Oh
probably
man.
going to take a minute.
Please go ahead, dive right in. I wanted to talk about some other combat sports news, but
Well, go ahead.
obviously Royal Rumble. No, obviously Royal Rumble stole the night last night. It was trending all over social media. So let's talk about it.
Royal Rumble was very interesting. The fact that they had the World Tag Team match on the kickoff show, not even on the Royal Rumble. So, yeah, that lets you know that the two Royal Rumble matches were going to be long. But in the World Tag Team match, you had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, which is interesting because Nia Jax is related to these. Well, obviously she's Samoan. She's related to The Rock and that whole crew. And Shayna Baszler is a former MMA fighter who used to train with Ronda Rousey. They ended up beating Ric Flair's daughter, Charlotte, with interference from her father, who caused her to lose. Her and the Japanese sensation, Asuka. And then to kick off the show, we had the world championship match. I've never seen one. Wait a minute. It's been rare that you see a world championship match to kick off the show. The last one I saw was a few years ago when Seth Rollins beat Brock Lesnar. But that was a WrestleMania, and that was a shocker to everybody in attendance. But it was Drew McIntyre beating Goldberg. Match didn't go that long. It wasn't as bad as I saw it trending. But I think this should be Goldberg's last crack at a world title. They paid him a bucket of money, I'm sure, to come back. And the mission was accomplished. People tuned in to see it. They gave him a pretty good match. And Drew McIntyre holds on to the title. And then you get into some decent other matches. But we'll deal with the other World Championship match, which was Roman Reigns against Kevin Owens. It was a last man standing match. And, yeah, they went all over the Tropicana field, and it actually had a point where Kevin Owens went up and put Roman Reigns on top of a basket on a table, and he went up on a forklift and did a swanton, which is a front flip off, and landed on Roman Reigns and went through the table. It was actually pretty cool because Kevin Owens is not a small dude. He's the ultimate dad bod in wrestling. Like
Well,
Daniel Cormier would go, "Wow, that's a dad bod." That's just yeah.
Okay.
Owens is probably about 6'1", 6', 6'1", probably about 260, 270 pounds, but not muscular. You could tell he works out, but probably at the table. But he's actually in incredible shape. It's just the way he's built. But he ended up losing to Roman Reigns. But here's the thing that came out of that match. The last man standing meant the man who could not get to his feet within the count of 10 loses. Well, he had handcuffed Kevin had handcuffed Roman Reigns to an apparatus so Roman couldn't get up. Well, Roman pulls the referee into a piece of the staging and knocks him out. So another ref comes up and the ref counts to 6 and stops. And the count really went past 20 before Reigns and Paul Heyman could get his handcuff off to stand up. It was the saddest moment of the evening. And then he puts Kevin Owens in a guillotine choke and chokes him out. Owens can't stand. He wins. So we got that BS out the way. The women's version of the Royal Rumble was off the chain. Off the chain. I mean, it had a little bit of everything. Even a guy coming in the ring in the middle of it because people were chasing him to strip him of his 24/7 title. Yeah, it was a little bit of everything. Even one of the women wrestlers pinned him in the middle of the match to take his title. In the middle of the Women's Royal Rumble. It was crazy. But I want to announce Bianca Belair, young black wrestler. She won the Royal Rumble. I didn't see that coming. I really didn't see that coming. She entered as number 3 and outlasted the next 27 entrants. And she ended up facing Rhea Ripley, who was a former not SmackDown champion, but NXT champion, to win that. The Royal Rumble should be going on to WrestleMania, and she can choose which world champion she wants to face, which is kind of cool. The men's Royal Rumble shocked everybody at the beginning because Edge came back and he was entrant number 1. Not only was he entrant number 1, but he ended up winning the entire thing. So, yeah.
That was going on with that. I saw that trending heavily on Twitter. People were actually posting updates about what was going on. Like, how do you do that in a wrestling match? But hey, they was figuring it out.
Mm-hmm. It was worth the price of admission.
I saw somebody say something about they've never seen anybody get knocked out with 2 spear punches or spear somethings and I guess was somebody move that somebody did that they hadn't seen done before. I don't know, and I was like, okay, I'm a complete novice, so I don't know what they're really referring to. But yeah, whatever a spear punch or spear, whatever it is, and some other combination he did, I don't know.
Did they say who?
A lot of, and believe it or not, bro, I find it interesting that you talk about wrestling so much because a lot of boxing people, a lot of boxing insiders, they are hardcore at WWE fans, bro. Like they tweet like what you would assume a teenage boy would be tweeting like as he's watching this stuff.
Sometimes you can get caught up in the hype and just have fun.
Yeah, give me a minute. I'll keep searching for it. But it was really going on last night.
Now during the women's match, I saw some moves tried, and there are going to be a couple of women on the concussion protocol today, just by moves that went wrong, and they continued to sell the move.
Yeah. So was one of those like a suicide? What they call a suicide off the top? She dove on this chick. And when they slowed it down, bro, she landed all wrong. I
Yeah,
don't think she was supposed to land like that.
that was actually in the Women's World Championship match with Sasha Banks and Carmella. And
Yeah,
Sasha did a
yeah.
move
That
off the
looked
top rope.
crazy.
Yeah. And normally she wraps her knees around the person's head as she jumps off the top rope and drives them into the mat. But
Gotcha.
when
Okay.
you could see when she drove it into the mat, that knee hit. I mean, it hit. She didn't land on her shin or that bone. She actually landed on the point of the knee. And it didn't go dead, but you could tell it was hurt.
Yeah. I saw somebody actually posted a clip of that where the two ladies, one had her legs around the other chick's head. It was spinning around the ring, and it was kind of like going. It was
Yeah.
looked like gymnastics, is what it really looked like. I'm like, yo, these people in some hellified shape, and they are furious, cause bruh.
But when those moves go wrong, they
That's
go
what I'm saying.
wrong. Like Rhea Ripley, who was the girl? She picked her up in a power bomb and dropped her on the outside of the ring apron. And when she did, you could see her head just bounce. And Rhea let go like she was supposed to, and the girl fell to the floor, which put her out of the Rumble. But she laid there for a while because you could tell she was done. She was done. You can, when you're around it long enough, you can see when some moves just go wrong. And fortunately or unfortunately, they're not hurt enough that they can't sell the rest of the move. But you just wonder, if they're able to get back and get some attention in time to stop something severe from happening. But there were a lot of moves last night that I saw that were just, that wasn't supposed to happen like that.
I'm in there now trying to find this particular one I was telling you, but that was crazy, bro. And everybody was commenting, man. Like, I was trying to keep up with some of them because I said I know bro want to talk about them on the show, but two spears and a Superman punch. I guess that's how Roman Reigns won the match.
Well, no, that's probably how he was supposed to, but Kevin Owens dealt with all that. It was crazy. It was crazy, but yeah, he did hit him with a Superman punch, and it was kind of insane, man. All those moves you have, and you finish with a standing, a guillotine choke, and you wrap him up in a body lock, and you choke him out. Now you've put him through a wall. He speared him through the screen that has wires running through it where they make their entrance. Right. And I'm like, okay, that didn't put you out, but you get caught in a guillotine choke.
Right, and people were putting questions out there like, what's wrong with Edge? They brought so-and-so back just to get put out. So people, I don't know any of this, but it sounds interesting, so I'm just keeping up on Twitter. Yeah. There was a lot going on. Randy Orton. They brought him back.
Bro.
Yeah, like, I'm just...
Bro, when I tell you that was the smoothest, Randy Orton act like he was hurt. But I think he really did. I think he really hurt his knee in the beginning of the Rumble. And they came out and they checked on it and they helped him back. But again, he never went over the top rope. So after Edge was declared the winner, well, before when everybody thought he was a winner because he was the last one in the ring, Orton comes back and sneaks up on him and gives him an RKO. But before he could throw him out, Edge turns the tables and throws him over the top rope. So Orton avoided all that pain and anguish by getting hurt early and then slithering back in at the end.
Somebody made a comment. It was like, hey, did Edge's doctor approve this? I'm like, what is going on? So apparently these guys have a lot of injury and the fans know about them or the injuries built into the script.
Listen, no, he literally tore his tricep. Right, it was in during the pandemic. It was probably May, and he hadn't been back. So, they were speculating he was coming back. They were speculating a lot of people were coming back. Like they said, John Cena was there, but he didn't enter the Rumble, and I was shocked about that, especially when you bring people that nobody really cares to remember, like Hurricane Helms. I'm like, he spent 30 seconds in the ring and got put out. Well, he made the mistake of trying to attack Bobby Lashley and somebody else, and they just tossed his behind out the ring. It was sad. It was like, why'd you come down? Your entrance was longer than your time in the match.
Yeah. I saw people saying that.
But it's going to be interesting now.
Saying that.
You got Edge who won, so now he gets to pick. Does he go after Drew McIntyre or does he go after Roman Reigns at SmackDown or at WrestleMania? So it'd be interesting to see the storyline they run up on that. And then for Bianca Belair, she's so physically gifted, man. It's amazing. It's like she's adapted not just wrestling, but MMA, classic boxing. I mean, she's an athlete. Like she can compete in any of those or as a gymnast. I just don't think they're going to use her correctly. They're going to market her correctly. I would hope they do, but I just have a feeling she's the bridge between some other champion and Becky Lynch coming back. I just have that feeling that's what it's going to be. Here's a little bit of information, and I got to look this up again because I think I looked it up when I first heard it. There's a guy in the WWE who goes by the name of Baron Corbin, and he won the last King of the Ring match. He played college football. I think he played for Kentucky. He's 6'5", about 270. But he was also a Golden Gloves boxer. He won the Golden Gloves, not national, but I think for his state. But you think a guy with that height and that size in general, you win the Golden Gloves. Seemed like your next progression would be into boxing, but I guess you can make more money right off going into wrestling. But I'm like, that size, that height, and you're a Golden Gloves champion? I like to see this.
Yeah,
the guy,
But, bro, listen, what we keep underscoring now, we keep saying this, everybody ain't like us. Some people just like to watch this stuff, man. Some people ain't into the actual physicality of it, bro. I get punched in the face a lot during the week. That's because I like the essence of combat and competition. But some people, they rather, play like Jane. Look like Tarzan, but play like Jane. So a lot of these guys, just because they look the part, don't mean they're really into it. But I see what you're saying, though. I mean, that's a lot of potential there, especially when you already had an amateur background.
Yeah. So, and you got the complexion for the protection. That's what I'm saying. He would have made far more money as an American Southern white heavyweight who can box and is very athletic. You're going to rise up a lot faster than most people. One, they're looking for somebody who can fulfill the gap left by Tommy Morrison. They haven't had that.
I mean, yeah, to a degree, yeah, but they've kind of bought into Tyson Fury. So, I mean, it's kind of awesome.
Because they don't have that. That's why they bought it.
And it's working for them right now. So, they got a little time to find somebody else. So I see where you're going with that. Listen, now that we've segued there, so the Ryan Garcia Manny Pacquiao fight kind of ended up just like we said on the show. Am I speaking out of turn here?
No. I think what you said was pretty accurate. Yeah.
Now he's backpedaling. He's like, oh well, I really respect Manny Pacquiao, but I beat him. But I think him and Tank should fight. Oh, so now you playing matchmaker? Like, what is, bro?
Why don't you fight Tank?
We gotta stop buying into all this nonsense, man. It almost seems like we know their plans, but we want to be played anyway. I don't understand it, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, on this show, we have the blessing to report what they're saying and be able to discuss the reality. So we're not aligned with any one organization, or we don't have anybody putting money behind us that promotes. So we're not obliged to tell you anything. So when we tell you something and we discuss it, it's because A, we believe you need to know and be informed, and B, because we want to get the truth out there.
Indeed, man. But yeah, it was just, we saw it a mile away, and people were really buying into that. I just think that's ridiculous and preposterous. But this is the sideshow. This is a spectacle. This is the wild, wild west that is boxing. Anything goes, and however we have to stay relevant, we stay relevant.
Watch me!
Um, Bro, we got some fights coming up.
Yeah.
We got a lot of fights coming up.
Yeah.
But before we talk about, and I want to touch more on the Caleb Plant, Canelo Alvarez thing. But before we go there, bro, your cousin got a fight in a couple weeks. Adrian, the one from Cincinnati.
I don't know nobody
It
from
don't
Cincinnati.
it don't matter who he fighting. He got to fight. How much do you care? And are we going to see a new and improved Adrian Broner?
If he wants to keep getting fights,
But does this kind of lean into what I've always been saying about Adrian Broner, like from the time we really started talking about him?
yeah.
This kid has an innate understanding of marketing. Now, whether he's in complete control of everything that he does when he does it and just understands how this works, but bro, social media marketing, as far as being trending and someone that's always kind of getting impressions, he's figured it out. He's got everybody buying into this new year, new him deal. He's not drinking anymore. He's eating healthy. He's already in shape.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
been in shape for a few weeks. Now we know that money tends to make a man do strange things. So it's made us feel like Adrian Broner has turned over this new leaf. But what does this really mean, bro? Are you really intrigued in this fight and to see what happens before you make a strong opinion about Adrian Broner right now? You fight, none of this matters. He's gonna get paid, pay off the debt that he's owed, have a little pocket change, and he's gonna revert back to who we've always known him to be.
Ding 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 ding.
Interesting. Okay.
I say I would love for him to prove me wrong, but I just feel like he's gonna prove me right.
I guess.
How do you feel?
I think I drunk the Kool-Aid. I think I want to feel like Adrian Broner's gonna be this new guy. And that's what my heart is telling me. But my head is like, man, this boy trying to get this check. He finna run up all these sponsors he can get. He gonna, because he ain't getting 10 million for this fight. Remember that 10 million number? Remember that 10 million Showtime and Al Heyman gonna give me 10 million. All that I done took less for, all that kind of BS, right?
Right.
No. He's trying to parlay this into another situation, which I get it. It's the American way and it makes sense. But my brain's not letting me fall for it. And I wish the brother well. And I hope that this is a change in him. But like you, the rational me is like, nah.
Because he hasn't given you. Go ahead.
People have behavioral patterns. They have things that they do. They have traits, right? And all of his traits and characteristics line up to not be someone that's totally committed to the game.
He hasn't given you any reason not to think that way. I mean, look, we would have loved for Adrian Broner to give us a reason to say, okay, I believe in you. You won't do it. Every time we feel like, okay, he's going to turn the corner. Nope, he makes a U-turn. Look. That's why you can't bet on him or the Bengals. They both going to let you down.
But I will say this, though, bro. Let's take this in consideration now. He's training in Miami. Now, granted, he lives in South Florida, but we know we've been there. We're from here, right? There's a lot of distractions down there, right? But he's down at the Fifth Street Gym, right in the heart of South Beach. From the looks of it, every day, him, Robert Easter Jr., and a few other guys from that Ohio group, because they all got fights coming up. It just looks like he's, I don't know. I'm just saying, we've seen Adrian in Miami before, and we've seen Adrian on a whole weekend in Miami before, and we've also covered stories and heard stories about Adrian blowing obscene amounts of money in Miami in a weekend. So maybe it's all out of system, bro.
We'll see. Maybe that what that judge did to him last year kind of changed him a little bit.
Yeah.
I doubt
Okay.
it,
Well,
but
man, me too. But listen, so something that we touched on a little bit on yesterday's show, we actually talked like we had some sense. You said that you feel like Caleb Plant, out of all the guys at 168 pounds, he's the guy that potentially poses the biggest threat to Canelo Alvarez stylistically.
I said
I
that.
want you to I want you to dive in a little bit on that because I got some questions. So go
Well,
ahead and
ask your
dive into that.
questions because I said everything I needed to say yesterday. So go ahead and ask your questions.
So you feel based on what we saw on Caleb Plant Saturday that defensively he's responsible enough to be in the ring with somebody like Canelo Alvarez?
Not just based on Saturday. Remember, I was saying this before the fight. From what I've seen in a collection of performances from Caleb Plant, I believe his movement, his ring IQ, his awareness, and the way he throws punches at angles, they're straight, they're crisp. I believe he would pose the stiffest challenge at 168 for Canelo. That's what I keep saying. The stiffest challenge of the members, the fighters currently at 168.
So
You're not going to back me into the corner, Senator.
no. I'm just asking because I'm intrigued. So that means that you also feel like Caleb Plant, by that logic, is the best fighter at 168 outside of Canelo Alvarez. So he beats Charlo, he beats Benavides, he beats Ildrum, he beats Martin Murray.
Is
I
Charlo at
mean,
168 or is he at 160?
he's at 160.
Right. So he's not even in the conversation that we're talking about right now.
Well, I mean, all the guys at 160 that called him out, he's called those guys
It,
out.
it doesn't matter. He's still at 160.
Okay, so do you feel like Caleb Plant is better than Jamal Charlo?
That's a tough one. Simply because I like how both of them, their game plans in the ring.
You're gonna have saddle sores, my brother. You can't ride this fence. So you're gonna have saddle sores. You can't ride this fence, brother. Are you saying that Caleb Plant is better than Jamal Charlo? That is a yes or no question, my friend.
That's a good question. And the answer to that is no. I'm not saying that he's better than Jamal Charlo.
Interesting. Okay.
But I do believe he poses right now the biggest challenge for Canelo Alvarez at 168.
Let me ask you another question then. So are you also saying by that logic
Senator, can we move on?
that Caleb Plant is better than your boy, La Bandera Roja? I think I said that right. David Benavides. Is that what we saying right now? I just want to make sure we clear on this, bro. That's all I'm asking.
No. What I'm saying is Caleb Plant offers the stiffest challenge for Canelo Alvarez at 168.
All right, I'm gonna leave you alone. Okay, I'm gonna leave you alone. We ain't gonna push you no more, bro. I get it. I get it. Okay.
My mom taught me that when I was dating in high school. Answer the questions that they ask you.
Do tell. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's listen. That's smart. That keeps you out of a lot of situations.
Uh-huh.
A lot of situations. Where do you put Michael Coffey now, bro? Since everybody likes their coffee black, strong, like that uppercut. Where are we putting him at, bro? Is he ready for anybody in the top 10?
Oh boy.
And the reason I'm asking you this now, age to me always matters. Now with heavyweights and not as much. So Michael Coffey is what, a young 30s, how old is he? 35, 36?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
But he's, let's say, early to mid 30s.
But he's not damaged goods. So that kind of
right. So that's what I'm saying, a young or a preserved
yeah.
early 30s, early to mid 30s. So he beats up Damani Rock, who was in no shape, but what we saw,
Right.
right? His understanding of
And it's not
angles,
Coffee's
distance,
fault that he wasn't in shape.
the hand speed, right? The confidence. And I keep talking about it, and I think that's where being a former Marine comes into play. Like, whereas I think if you're a boxer without an amateur pedigree, so for someone that gets a particularly late start in the game, you have to almost be to a degree kind of fearless, right? Because you haven't had the training and rearing from a young kid to be punched. So
Well,
it's not as natural for you when you get into it later.
I'm going to say this, and it's going to defy most of the logic of experienced trainers that we've met in our lifetime. I believe for Michael Coffey, it works to his advantage not having an amateur background. One, we know they do hand-to-hand combat, and they do sparring and punching in the military. That's just how they blow off steam and how they keep in shape. The Marines has a boxing team, the Navy, the Army, the Air Force. So you've had combat training there. And now when you become a pro, just like you develop good habits as an amateur, you can develop bad habits as an amateur. So now you're just being reared from the pro level up. The stuff that you lacked in going to the AAUs and the Golden Gloves, you made up for in life experience. So I believe at this point, it doesn't matter if he had any amateur fights. He is being molded in the right way as a professional pugilist. And it saved his body. We don't know what he endured in the military that may come back later. But as far as a heavyweight taking those punches from a teenager up, he didn't have to worry about that. So now I believe that because men actually hit their physical prime between the ages of 39 and 41. If you're not involved in athletics and you don't wear your body down, doctors will tell you hit your physical prime between the ages of 39 and 41. That's why they tell you if you're heavy, lose weight before your physical prime is over and your body can adjust and you'll have a better quality of life as you go forward. But if you don't, your body's going to adjust to you as a heavy person, and it's harder to get those mechanics of your body to adjust even when you lose weight after the age of 41. Now, it's a sliding scale. It can go from 37 to 43 roughly, but that pinpoint age is 39 to 41. So because he didn't take a lot of abuse, this man is about to hit his physical prime with not as much wear and tear as most boxers have on them.
That is interesting. I know you're not an MD, but I'm just curious. So you mean to tell me that when you say physical prime, do you mean just life itself, or do you mean like physical capabilities? 'Cause I would think that middle to late 20s is when you're physically probably in your prime. Okay, got it. Okay.
But no, that's the misnomer that they've kind of led people to believe, especially young men, because they want you involved in the athletic sports when you're young. Because, again, you hit your physical prime, 39 to 41, your body still doesn't heal like it did when it was 18 to 20 to 24, but it's developing still. Like you're still, it sounds crazy, but if you haven't put a lot of wear and tear on your joints and your muscles are still developing and getting naturally stronger when you hit that physical prime of 39 to 41. I know it sounds crazy, but where most people in athletics will say, no, your prime's going to be when you're 19, 20, maybe 24, maybe 28. But physically, your body chronologically is waiting until 38, 39, 40, 41, 42 to really give you that physical prime. Because by then,
Now
everything. Go ahead.
that is an interesting take because I feel like part of me agrees with you in terms of physical strength because I feel like what they call old man strength, right? We've all kind of had a point at our time where we were in our late teens, early 20s, and we tussled with someone that was probably in their 30s going into their 40s. Like, whoa, I'm a collegiate athlete or I'm a young spry man.
But
I'm
I
quicker
can't
and
hang with
faster.
this.
Right, I'm quicker and faster. Like I can move quicker in and out. But when we lock horns, it's a different type of strength going on here.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. But on the fast twitch side of the game, I don't think that.
Now, keep
I
in
think that.
mind, I learned a lot of this stuff when I was in college and I was studying for my ACE certification to be a physical trainer. So what we get confused with is you might be faster at 19 to 24, but when you get that last boost of strength, as you call old man strength, when that you go through that last real big period. Now keep in mind, it doesn't mean you can't get stronger as you get older. What it means is your body is ready for that and accepting of that, and it's conducive for that hard work that you can put in a gym between 39 and 41, and your body just accepts it like it would have when you were a teenager. Now, as far as speed, you may be a little bit slower, but that's made up for with wisdom and anticipation and suddenness.
Yeah,
And as a heavyweight, who is the last heavyweight besides Roy Jones Jr. that we've been dazzled by hand speed?
oh yeah. I mean, well, dazzled. I wouldn't say that, but I think we've seen a few guys since then. Andy Ruiz is the first one to come to mind for me, which is quick hand speed. Now he's not gonna move. He's not gonna be able to get out of the way a lot, but he has some very quick hands.
He has quick hands, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Um,
most of your heavyweights, all you're worried about is being able to get that sudden shot off, throw that jab out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I don't worry when people say, "Oh, he's heavyweight, but he's 38." Okay, what did he do? When did he get into boxing? That's my first question.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for however old Michael Coffey was, like you said, he's well preserved. He's looking good. My question though is, does he beat anybody in the top 10? Is he ready for that yet?
Um, that's a tough one. I believe I would
Do you
say,
like it?
huh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you finish. Go ahead.
I would probably give him one more fight before I start throwing him in with top 10 competition. But then realistically, how do you evaluate him without getting him in there against top 10 competition? So I would say, yeah.
So you feel like he's okay? So he's ready for Frank Sanchez. He's ready for F.A. Ajagba. He's ready for those guys because those are the guys that are kind of getting, they're getting ready to peek into that. Hey, you might want to let me get that number 10 guy, number 9 guy. Because we're right here. Do you think he's at that precipice? Is he at that level yet?
I'd chance it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Again,
Okay.
I mean, if it was a perfect world, I would give him one or two more fights to get him there. Work on,
And that
sharpen
may
a few
happen.
more tools.
And
But
that may happen because he's a heavyweight, so his career is going to be longer anyway.
I think if he was pressed into it, he could deal with a number 8 through 10.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe we can get Michael Coffey on the platform, man.
I like it. I'm not drinking coffee, but we welcome him.
Bro, you gotta relax. That was so out of line. You know, you take things too far sometimes, bro. But it's all good. Meanwhile, what else we got, man? Anything else come across your imagination, or your timeline, or your TV screen at this point this weekend?
Besides that fight on Saturday, yeah, but not really. Not really. We got a UFC Vegas 18, I think, is this Wait a minute. Did we? No, it's this Saturday. It's this Saturday. I keep thinking we're in the week number 2 in February, and we're not. We're in week number
No,
one.
the first day, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Shout
Happy
to Bone
February
Thugs and
1st.
Harmony. It's the first of the month.
So
Wake up,
grab
wake
your
up,
yes.
wake up. Yeah. You know
Yes.
what, man? You know what's so weird about that? It's become a habit. Like every time I realize it's the first of the month, I automatically sing that song. Just like on Hump Day, I always say Hump Day, and it's like, why am I doing that? You don't find yourself doing stuff like that? Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
habitual things?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, wow. Like when you make a point, I automatically assume it's going to be wrong. And then I got to evaluate it myself.
Then you got to process it to make sure it's valid.
Yeah.
Wait a
Make
minute,
sure
hold
it's
on.
valid.
That
Yeah.
might have, oh, okay. I mean, look, the one thing I like about you is you're consistent.
I
You're
tried, bro.
consistent.
I
So
tried.
yeah,
I don't want you to ever say he was not consistent.
you always let me know which side of your which side is shining today. So
Wow.
look at that.
Wow. All
Look
right,
at that.
then.
Hey, Super Bowl week, man. You're a man of the media. Ain't nobody here because everybody's doing it virtually. How much does this impact Super Bowl week? Even though
None.
I feel like the city's still gonna be absolutely swinging this whole week.
It doesn't affect the Super Bowl at all. We had a
Yeah.
super COVID spreader all weekend with the NFL experience. So, hey, go out and catch your disease, then get vaccinated. Welcome to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm
No,
not
I
trying to
mean,
be cynical.
I was telling someone, I say, man, it's just weird because, for whatever the city is going to experience this week, you could have magnified that by like 4 or 5 times. And that's what it really would have been had we not
Yeah,
had COVID.
yeah.
That's the crazy part.
But here's the
I
funny
think it's going
thing:
to be,
people are still coming to Tampa for this
yeah,
game.
yeah.
My mom's got friends who have friends coming in from Kansas City, and I'm like,
Hmm.
this is the epicenter of COVID. What's wrong with y'all? But
COVID fatigue, my friend. They did a good job at controlling us with COVID. I'm not gonna get into all that, but COVID fatigue, bro. Listen, rational people can only buy into this for so long, bro. We're taking chances we weren't taking this time last year, or not quite this time around March, April last year. You just, bro, when you know, and it's just kind of like, okay, well, either I'm gonna catch it and get vaccinated, I'm gonna stay in the house and still catch it, or I'm gonna properly take care of my body and do what I've been doing my entire life anyway. And if I come in contact with it, I come in contact with it, I fight it off, and we keep moving. Or worst case scenario, I catch it and die. So I mean,
that's usually, it's funny because that's usually somebody's outlook until they catch it. And
yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I take this back because I came up, I was born in the early 70s. So as a kid in the 80s, HIV went rampant and people were afraid to catch it. I mean, they wouldn't even perform certain sexual acts because they thought that's how you got it. This is how crazy it was. But then you have a certain group of people, and you know who you are, who would say, I'm not worried about it. If I get it, I get it. But then when you get it, you want somebody to feel sorry for your stupid behind. No, I just can't buy into that. It's just like with COVID. Now, I'm not talking about the people that got it through a transfusion or other means. I'm talking about people who knowingly went out there and did
Oh, just threw it on the crap
stupid
table.
things. Huh?
Oh, okay. Just threw it around the crap table. We're just gonna skip
Yeah,
forward.
yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's irresponsible. You still don't wish that on anybody, but that's
No, I
very
don't wish it.
irresponsible.
But if you get
Yeah,
it,
yeah, I ain't.
don't knock on my door talking about, feel sorry for me. No, I'm sorry you got it, but you earned it. So it's like with COVID. If you show up at events with no mask, if you show up at events where you have all these people crowded, they have a comedy show coming to the Amalie Arena. 2 nights. Mike Epps, DC Young Fly, oh man, I forgot who all's gonna be there.
Carlos Miller, Michael Blackson.
Right. Michael Blackson. Anyways. least he got the name right. Um, Listen, you got all them people stacked on top of each other, laughing and joking and drinking and laughing and joking and sneezing and laughing and then you gonna wonder why your coworker has COVID in 2 weeks.
Question for you.
Yeah, yeah. This ought to be a good
Somebody,
one.
no, no, it's very straightforward. Are you turning down ringside gigs because of COVID?
Ringside gigs.
Like if somebody calls and say, "Hey, we got a boxing match coming. We want y'all to come and do y'all thing," are you not going?
Yeah, I mean, to be realistically, because as much as I want to go, I got a wife and a daughter at home.
Okay, all right, got it. Just
Now,
wanted to know.
when it was a situation where there was no audience there, or we were in a certain area that we weren't really going to be on top of each other, that was something I thought about. Because like we went out to a program, was it in March? No, was it April or May over at White Sands? It might have been June,
Yeah, it was June.
but most of the people were pretty spaced out. Most, except for I get. That's a good thought.
Just curious, brother, because it usually happens like that with people that are rationally thinking people. We like to feel like because we understand things that, but bro, it just plays on us, man. It ain't as easy as you think it is, man. So we just
It's
gotta be
not,
careful
but I mean,
when we slander people who are doing.
I've been invited to things recently, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And I want to go. I really want to get out the house and go. But I think about who's here. And I think about,
Indeed, as you should.
so, I would want to. Like, even if we got, which I was kind of working on, but I thought about it. Even if we had gotten passes to WrestleMania as media, as bad as I'd want to be there, I would have to, I couldn't go. Now I'm being
Indeed,
a
indeed.
hypocrite.
So we up against it, my friend. We closing out. What else we got?
Um, Listen, this is a tough time. We've got 3 new strains of COVID-19 in this country. Um, we have a mental health crisis going on in this country. Please, if somebody crosses your mind, I don't care what issues you've had with them in the past, just reach out. If they don't accept, that's fine. But you reached out. Take some time out of your day to make somebody else's day. You really don't know how it may affect them. You don't know how it may help them, how it may enrich them. But what you do know is we're called to make this place better than when we found it. So shout out to Samantha Clark Jones. Shout out to Audrey. Shout out to Anita. Shout out to Miss Darlene. Shout out to my wife and my daughter. Shout out to my pops. Shout out to the Badger. We're going to remind him that if his internet is messed up, he going to have to log in 20 minutes early just to make sure he's here on time.
Indeed, indeed. Some of us have to be responsible, and I guess that would be you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we ain't really got a lot. We're gonna close the show out. Oh, also, man, Brandon Marshall, please do me and everybody else a favor and keep I Am Athlete going. It's a great podcast.
Yes.
But what you will not do, my brother, is get in the ring with Deontay Wilder and think it's gonna be a contest. Don't do that, brother. Stay in your lane. We out of here, man. Share a little joy. Tell somebody you care about them. Send them a pigeon. Reach out. Do whatever you gotta do and make sure you back here with us tomorrow at the same bat time, same bat place. Well, we get to get a little more ignorant and I get to talk about some more entertaining stuff. My partner gets to show you that this show is real and we also have distractions because we live in real life. All right, Destination, we out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Peace.